What's up guys, and welcome to a Global Wingman Tips video on Overpass. I'm going to get myself armor, aka a full belt of utility, make sure I've got God mode on, and with the help of Bot Manatee here, we're going to go through as many tips and tricks, all live in one take like a Twitch live stream. So pause the video and go back if there's anything you want to see, or just go down to the YouTube comments and see for the best timestamps for the best tips and tricks. So let's get straight into it. Fast Molotov T side, you can stand here in towards short at the start of the round, halfway down the pillar on the right hand side, and basically run forward, left click throw. Super easy, it's going to land here. Bougie, it's going to slow down that CT advance in towards water at the start of the round. They're going to either to run through that, smoke it off, or just wait for it, and that should give you the advantage to get down into water here as fast as possible. Now sometimes I like to go in towards connector. Connector is open to you here in Wingman. It's a very cool bit of the map because water is such a strong piece of the map that lets you step up, stage an attack by throwing a load of utility in towards the bomb site. Overpass is probably one of the easier maps because there's basically only two ways. There's monster or there is short, so construction, whatever you want to call it. So maybe you get your teammate to throw that Molotov for you whilst the other player comes in through here. Now, if you want to jump down, you can jump down, shorten your time here rather than doing like this, coming down like a flipping slow grandma on an escalator. You can basically jump around the corner, and what you need to do is making sure you land on that. So if you don't land on that, your old grandma knees are going to break and you're going to hurt like that. I'm going to take a load of damage, which I don't need, and losing 10, 20 HP like that at the start of the round is not what you want to be doing. So you want to just jump around the corner and making sure you're landing on that kind of pallet there, like that, and you're not taking anything, and plus you get down here really fast. Now you can do a flash for yourself by bouncing it off this bit here. Do you see that bit where I'm looking at? Just bounce a flashbang off yourself there, wait for it to flash, and then come on around and start opening up and doing damage to any CTs here. Obviously you can do the Stewie 2K flashbang where you sit here like this, crouch down, look at the top of that, it goes in through the letterbox. That works as well, but that only works if the CT is here looking close to the wall, or if he's coming around here. It's a good flashbang, but it does not work for this position. He'll go out and it'll pop. It's not going to even blind this guy, and if there's a guy here, he's just going to nail you as soon as you come out that door. So I find, certainly for start of the round, when I absolutely want to make sure that I want to get that flight, I want to get that fight, you don't want to be doing that. There you go. You want to get that flash in, open that door and do that. Be very mindful. Look at how I'm opening this door. I'm opening it on the angle, because if the CTs are boosted, if I'm like this, then I'm open to an angle like this, and if I open it even worse, if I'm opening the door like this and coming straight out, I've got two angles to fight, okay? So I'm very mindful that I'm opening this to make sure this is clear first, and then I come around to check that boost spot, or I can wallbang as well if I spot them up there. If they're then kind of boosting up on the sandbags, I can then do kind of a big damage then in return. That flashbang as well, I promise you, is also going to blind anyone up on that boost spot like this. You wait for it to flash, you open the door, it's going to check out that. If there are CTs boosted here, that flash will do an absolute number. They'll sit like that. Obviously, remember, at high levels, they're not going to look at it. They're going to see it come out, and they're probably going to dismantle boost and then get out because they know that's where you're coming from. So pretty cool thing to get yourself out of this angle here. There's loads of utility that you can set up here from water. Like I said, it's a good staging ground to get yourself in towards the bomb site. If you're looking for the numero uno easiest heaven smoke you've ever seen in your life, just walk up to the corner here, look at the bottom of the pole, left click throw, it lands over, right into the middle of heaven, done. Easy peasy. There is no way of going wrong with that. You just stand there, walk at the bottom of the telephone pole. Easy. Never go wrong again with a heaven smoke. It should be so quick and easy. Now if you want a bridge smoke, bridge being this angle here on the bridge, really important, because as you cross this angle to get to the bomb site, you know, I've got to go all the way over here to plant the bomb if I'm coming in from short. This is so full of angles. They can be in so many places. They can be here, they can be down in the water down below here, kind of watching you come in. They can be back here watching you in like this. They could be back here, they could be up flipping close, they could be anywhere up here on bridge. It's a horrible angle. So to smoke off bridge, basically I want to stand here and I want to look at this little chimney up to the telephone pole, left click throw. It's going to bounce off there, land in the middle of the bridge. Beautiful, easy smoke. And suddenly, that removes all of the advantages that playing back here and all this stuff has, and they can't see you now cross over to the bomb site, and that's just going to make your life just a little bit easier. Obviously, you can, and the good thing is the smoke is back far enough that you can check if there's anyone up close, and then as you creep on round to check everything, check heaven, check on top of this box and all that kind of stuff like that, check all of here in the corner, make sure no one is ratting around. If you want to throw that smoke more on the fly here, just from this position rather than going back there, you want to get in the action a little bit faster, just look at the edge of the generator, go up a bit, left click throw, and then you can do exactly the same smoke, and it does the same thing, so it's up to you. Remember guys, practice your smokes. You shouldn't be in a live game going here, here, here. You're going to give this guy 5 years to come round and come down and shoot you in the side, okay? So basically, you should just know that when you come in here, the whole reason I'm showing it to you live in one take is that you should just know roughly where you need to be looking straight away. Utility shouldn't be too overthought, and it should come out quite quickly in a game. So there's a couple of smokes and stuff like that if you wanted to. In terms of Molotovs, there's loads of things you can do. I can burn barrels from here. If I kind of just step back at the back a little bit like this, then I can look at this little square here. You see this square? And basically the top left corner of the square, take a step forward, left click throw. I'm going to get a nice Molotov. It's going to land right here on barrels. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Now, if I had 2 Molotovs, if I had a teammate leave me a second Molotov, I don't know whether he just leaves me one like that on the side that I can pick up straight away. Leaving grenades in CSGO is a bit of an art, I can't lie. It's a bit of an art form because there's just no way of knowing where the hell they're going or whether you just need to leave it straight like that on top or something like that. There we go. I can throw one Molotov and pick it up really easily like that. So practice leaving grenades, and you can have one person throw 2 grenades here. The first one they can throw it there. To throw another one on the little ramp here, you go to the bottom of this, down in line this. Basically in line with the bottom of the overpass, okay? Loosey-goosey, don't worry too much, but that's going to land here on towards the ramp, and that's going to stop this position. So now you imagine if there's 2 of you, or if there's one of you here who wants to throw 2 Molotovs, you can throw one there, and then pick up your second one, launch it, and then you can end up then with really good Molotovs, which you could make a CT have to run 50 years through Molotovs to get out of there, and you can basically get all of this going. So look at what I'm showing you guys. Look at how you can basically set up whole utility strats from just one person. One person can leave utility here for one person, and then one person can throw a lot of utility in towards that site. The other person can just stand here keeping watch and stuff like this. I remember in my Vertigo video I took you to Counter-Strike School, and I spoke about holding angles for your teammates. If me and Bot Manatee are holding this angle, if I'm here throwing utility and I ask Manatee to hold that angle, think of what that angle is. If I draw the invisible line on this screen, there's the angle that the enemy's going to see me from. Manatee is no flipping good to me if he stands that side of the angle, because the enemy's going to see me first. As he comes around the corner, I'm dead. Manatee's not invisible and they've run away, they've got the kill. If I need cover holding this angle because I'm throwing a smoke grenade in like this and I can't physically see in my peripheral vision what's happening over here, Manatee needs to be here where he can see the enemy coming around the corner before he sees me there. If I'm the enemy coming to kill me on that position there, they're going to walk into Manatee first. They're not even going to know I'm there throwing utility. So please guys, bear that in mind for some of the low rank players who have maybe not kind of considered those things before. Then if you're being asked to hold that angle, if you're protecting your teammate on this angle whilst they're throwing in utility, make sure you're on a deeper angle so that your teammate is in cover and you're going to be the first one to take a gunfight. Because as soon as my teammate starts taking a gunfight, I can get my gun back out and I can help him here. But I'm no fucking good if I'm getting shot here first and my teammate's hugging this wall like a bitch and there's just nothing, they can't even see the enemy. So that's the kind of thing you want to be doing. And plus, if they're positioned out here, they can also get the read on if there are CTs wrapping around behind us, and they can then go for that kill and stuff like this. So just be a better supportive teammate if you're going to be doing that stuff, whilst the other support player is throwing in the utility, okay? So be a better support player for your teammates. But in terms of the utility I was showing, 2 smokes, 2 Molotovs, you can be doing absolute bits. You've got heaven smoked, you've got all of this burning, you've got the smoke here. There is a real limit now on options of where CTs can be, what they can be doing, because everything is now smoked and it's going to be a bit of a nightmare. Follow that up with a flashbang. You can basically look at the bottom of this pillar just like this, or if you want to look at the top right there, wherever you want to look, but basically you want to get a flashbang that lands like this. Or any flash that lands on the corner of this roof here is basically pretty good. I mean, you can throw flashbangs like, you know, whether you're doing stuff like this, but the problem is I'm fucking miles away, so sometimes it's better to just actually kind of look in line with the green line like this, get the flash in, and I'm right here. As soon as it flashes, I'm right on top of it. So think about your flashbang timings. Like that, I'm popping and I'm straight in on top of the action. So sometimes, yes, you can have an amazing flashbang from back here, but if you're not going to peek on it for like a second, 1, 2, nearly 2 seconds after that flashbang's got, the enemies are fucking gone. They're all white and gone. So you're not going to be there. You want to be, if you're flashing in for yourself like this, you want to be straight on top of it. As soon as that's popped, I'm round here making fucking business happen to try and get some kills and open up that bomb site. So open up that in with those kind of flashbangs. Boosts, everyone's obviously knows about this boost. The boost, you want to kind of go between the window and the edge just like this. If I put Manatee on my head, it's kind of really easy to do that. Ooh, look at that water effect. Really easy to get then on top of Manatee's head. Stand up, bro. There we go. And then it's really easy to see barrels. And any Heaven player who's creeping too far forward, if you get to the higher ranks in Wingman and stuff like that, or even just Overpass in general, you're not going to catch a CT lacking. But you may get a stupid CT who's playing out here, who's getting a bit greedy, wants to come, maybe jump peek and see if that connector door's been open. This is another good strat, by the way, as well. So if you're CT, if you see that door's been open, you know they're in water and they're probably going to be coming in through construction. So sometimes a small jump peek like that is really, really helpful. Plus, if you literally see that door open in front of you, you can literally then just start wallbanging it and hopefully doing some damage to anyone who's in here. So it's going to be pretty, pretty nasty. So there's the pretty funky boost and stuff like this. You haven't got 3 players, so you can't do the boost and stuff up here, but you know, you can jump on top of someone's head and kind of get up here. I'm trying to think, can you do it? You can get up here, and in a pro game or something like this, you can actually get up here and you can sit on top of someone else's head and then play 3 players up here. On your own, you can't do too much, but you can, I suppose, stand here, check heaven, and jump spot barrels from back here whilst your other teammate goes in, and you can kind of say, yeah, there's 1 barrels, there's definitely 1 barrels, and there's 1 heaven. You can do an info peek, but it's up to you, but you do need 3 players to make that work properly. In terms of everything else, I mean, you can do like Molotovs here if you want to catch off this position back here. If that's where you know where they are, if they're in those kind of corners and stuff like that, absolutely, you can kind of make stuff like that happen, make stuff like that work. Do naughty ass grenades, like literally, you know, you can grenade barrels. You know where it is. Barrels is just to the left of that pillar over there, and I can kind of then look at the edge of this roof like this, and I can get deep grenades that land right over in towards barrels. And you imagine if there's 2 of you kind of sat side by side, come up with your own lineups, guys, and do naughty things like that. And you can do huge things. CTs who are kind of sat here watching these angles, you imagine doing double grenades that come over like that. They're going to be absolutely devastating. So come up with ways to clear out those default positions, or just get the Molotovs and stuff in there when you come on in. I think that's pretty much everything for how you can come in through water. There's pretty much, that's it. Now, in terms of coming in through this way, I've obviously showed you the fast Molotov and stuff like this, and you can kind of come on in. You can do a nice little wall bang into short just through this bit of the wall here. Sometimes you may just catch out a CT who's transitioning in through short quickly at the start of the round, or if it's later on, if they're just kind of walking around this part of the map, you may just end up catching someone, just a little bit of damage. Once you come down here, I always recommend jumping across to that cylinder spool there, because I'm safe from the angle, If there's a CT AWPer who's coming in like this, and he's watching, and if he's waiting for me to come in something like that, he's not going to see my feet jump across and land on that spool. He can't even fucking see that spool there. So I always recommend, if you are coming in to do this bit, jump across to the spool as soon as you can, and then you can come in and re-aggress on towards the angle and try and get that fight as well. And just flash for yourself, you know, there's no reason you can't just throw flashbangs like that and then go for the peak as well. You see that flash is going to absolutely flipping wreck a CT AWPer. If you've jumped across and he doesn't even know you're there and he's looking for you, that flash that comes over is going to be like, oh my god, that's a little bit naughty, and it's going to go over and do nice stuff. Now, you can set up a load of smokes and stuff to get yourself in towards this part of the map. You can smoke off barrels if you want to. Stand here where the light meets the shade here in towards the canal. You can basically follow the bottom of the underpass here. You see this line, and as soon as that disappears in behind the top of the cinder block wall here, left click throw, it's going to go over and it should bounce off the barrels here and kind of leave it in a nice spot just like that. Oh my god, look how beautiful! How beautiful! There's barely any gaps ready to work with it. The CT can stand up here and have a little bit of a look-see over here, but I would follow that up with a Molotov behind it. So as soon as you then come in towards this position here, look at the roof, crouch down, look at the roof, left click throw, and you're going to get a Molotov that lands behind that smoke. Now barrels is completely useless. It's smoked and Molotoved off, and it's an absolute nasty position. If you want to Molotov barrels from back here, here's a nerdy way of doing it. Stand here, as soon as I fall off the stairs, you're going to watch my screen drop, ready? There, so you see that drop? That's as soon as I'm off the stairs, like that, my screen's dropped. I then want to follow this, the second line down. I want to look here into the corner. So just look into the corner like that. So I'm stood here, I drop, and as soon as I drop, I look into the corner like this, and I want to jump, run, left click throw. That's not gone the way I want. It's quite an awkward one, because basically you got to get it nice and right. There we go. So that's the Molotov that comes over from Canal. You're throwing that from freaking miles away, and it comes over to clear that ankle just like that. So the CT will be in this position. That comes over from years away, and that's going to force them away. I know that the CT is going to have 5 years to react to that, but the whole point is he now can't play barrels, and you need to now get in there before that Molotov runs out. But there's a pretty funky Molotov that you can basically get in. I'll show that to you one more time, because I messed up the first time. Look into the corner like that. There we go. It's really easy like that. That's such a nice Molotov that gets you in. And of course you can do a flash as well. If you kind of look at the bottom right of that, crouch down, move forward, you get a nice flash that goes in over the top like this. It flashes really nice and high that it's just going to be a huge devastating flash for anyone in the corner. So if you're looking for fast play in towards Monster, that's the flash I would throw, where you're looking at the bottom right of this, just like this, and you get your teammate to run in front of you. Just keep going, because your teammate keeps running. They throw it over the top like this, and it's not going to, and your teammate is right on top of them. Remember that principle that I was showing you guys, that you want to be on top of your enemies as fast as possible after a flashbang. There's no point throwing a flashbang and then not peeking for 5 years behind it. So there's that thing. And you can also throw a flashbang from back here. If you look at where the light meets the shade here, you can just do a flash as well, like that. Now that's a good flash if I'm playing on my own. So sometimes, you know, you throw the smoke here. If I'm going to peek that AWP on the corner, I'll throw that flash, and then I'm going to come around and peek that angle, because that flash does exactly the same job. Anyone who's holding that angle and knows I'm there, that flash comes over the top and sails them into another dimension of whiteness. So absolute nice stuff. Now you can, if you get your teammate to leave you smoke, you can have one person throw 2 smokes from one position. Your teammate is going to cover you. Remember what I said about covering. Your teammate is going to be here watching this angle like this, and make sure that you don't get shot from a CT pushing short, and make sure that you don't get pushed in from here, because one person's going to throw 2 grenades. Now the first grenade is going to be the bridge grenade, where basically you then look at you see this tram line here. As soon as it disappears into the wall, left click throw, it's going to go over and bounce off the left side of this pillar on towards bridge. That is your bridge smoke from Monster. You should see how much of an important smoke that is. You can throw it from here, you can throw it from here, and you can throw it from back here as well. Really, really helpful, because as you come on around, it just removes those angles, because this can be a bitch of a fight as well. If you're fighting a CT all the way back here, who's watching some kind of angle like this, and he's watching your heads come in, that's such a bitch of an angle. And he can call as well. He can call to the Heaven player how many he's seen of you cross over here, so the Heaven player can literally get ready. If the guy down there is saying there's one cross, this guy's ready to literally start doing damage. So that smoke grenade is really going to help you. The second one actually lands on site here to give you a wall of smokes. This is going to give you a wall of smokes to help you get on site. So like I said, you get your teammate to leave you the other smoke grenade like that, they leave it like that, and all that stuff. You can stand there, pick up 2 smoke grenades straight away. So the first one you throw there, the second one you throw at the black line here on towards this pillar, just like this. Left click throw from a standstill. It's going to go over and bounce off the edge of the sandbags here, and it's going to land there. Very specific reason it lands there, because it leaves me a deliberate one-way gap once I'm on site. Look at that one-way gap. That's going to kill any CTs that were down there. I promise you how many times that's caused. CTs out here, they are not going to expect a janky little angle like this when that smoke screen is in full play. So the first thing that you do like this, you basically stand here. Same place is where you throw the barrel smoke, where the light meets the shade, and you basically look at the corner there, then do this one with your second smoke. And you can set up a one-man wall of smokes. One-man wall of smokes. Now couple that up with the Molotov in towards barrels and stuff like this. You're coming up here, you're clearing up all this stuff. This is so easy, so nice now that you can plant here. Your teammate can basically watch this or see if they're coming over the blocks up above. You can move up to this kind of edge of the gap on the smoke just like this, and when that kind of smoke screen is up, that's really awkward to take a gunfight here. It's super nice. So there's a cool way of setting up some smoke screens to get yourself in. Then obviously you can flash yourself in like that. Once you've thrown all of your smokes, you know, they should be really easy to bring out. And once you've thrown all that stuff, you can just flash yourself in, and that flash is going to wreck anyone here and stuff like this. Now, sometimes you're going to hear me talk about crisscross flashbangs, okay? So in terms of crisscross flashbangs, you would probably do something like this. Now, I talk about crisscross flashbangs is because the first flashbang I showed you does not blind someone on the close corner, right? So if I throw that flash, they're called crisscross flashbangs, look, because they cross over and make an X. That flashbang up there does not blind a CT close here. Literally does nothing. So if there's a CT waiting for you here, he's going to wreck you. So it's so important you get another flashbang that blinds here. So if 2 of you are pushing Monster, you need to throw crisscross flashbangs. Obviously, provided this is safe. Ideally, the CT is going to be over here somewhere, or they're going to be over here if they're not close. Hopefully, you've been here early enough in the round that you've not seen any CTs cross. So you know they're all going to be on that side. In which case, you would genuinely throw your crisscross flashbangs, move in like that, and then you're going to move in and start capitalizing. That first flashbang absolutely fucks anybody who's on barrels. Even if they're tucked in, that gets them. And that second flashbang like that wrecks anyone here on this angle like this. Full white, and they're going to be no good. So if you want to flash this whole area and make sure 100% that you're getting everyone white in this area, then you need to do the crisscross flashbangs like this, where they cross over each other, and then you're pushing in together as fast as possible. And you'd probably do that after you do the smoke wall, okay? Because that is going to do, look at it, there's nowhere to hide from those other than playing back here on site. And even if you're playing back here on the ramp, that second flashbang is going high over there, because the first one over here lands behind the pillar. That one flashbang doesn't guarantee all of it, so you need 2 flashbangs to pop at 2 different heights and 2 different places to guarantee a full white CT and push them back into that site whilst you come on out and get some good positions. Once you kind of come up here, I mean, you can do other kind of flashbangs. So you can do a flashbang like this off the top like this. If as soon as you see the overpass meets the railing like this, left click throw, Look at that, that's so beautiful. It bounces off the ceiling on towards the edge there. That is a god flash, because again, if there's people back here, this is this guy, this is who this is intended for. It flashes nice and high into his POV, and it's going to be so ruinous to people back there. And even that, it's going to do a good job of dazing the CT player in heaven, just to give you that quick second to just jiggle peek and get an idea of what's going on. So for that one there, oh my god, I'm Tony Hawk, I'm skateboarding around the place. You basically just stand there, look at the tip there, left click throw, wait for it to pop, and as soon as it pops, here I am, hello, and it's going to be super, super easy. You can Molotov in towards short, things like that. You know, if there are CTs in there, you can smoke it if you want, whatever you want. Oop, not like that. Make sure you get the angle right on the smoke, kind of at the edge of the monster, edge of the red monster, okay? If you think that the CTs have gone through that way, and it's now a 2 versus 1 on site, and the CTs, because sometimes the CTs might play really aggro, okay? The CT might be there, and the other one might be here, and they might be playing some kind of crossfire, where the CT's out here, and he knows you're not coming from that way, and the more time he spends out here, the more he's just like, they're definitely coming monster, dude. And so now you start pushing up, now he's going to start shooting you in the side. It's going to be really difficult to fight the heaven player, and this guy here, you're going to be in a bit of a crossfire, and a little bit more difficult, so all that kind of stuff like that. When you're coming in, you can do, I've shown you the Molotov as well on barrels, crouch down. This is a really hard fight to take, you know, because the CT is only showing you his head. I'm showing my whole body in this position, so it's quite a hard thing to take. If you know you've got him in there, just look at the roof like that, crouch down, left click throw. That's how you get the Molotov in there. If you haven't got the Molotov, which I showed you from before. If you know they're on the ramp as well, then again, just look at the wall here. You can just bounce one off the wall. That again is a good one to stop the CTs playing on this ramp here. They can't now kind of watch you guys come out, and they're going to have to fall back deeper into sight here. They don't have the height advantage. Now you're the one coming over the top of the ramp, looking down at them rather than them be on the ramp here, taking off your face as soon as that's up. Because when they've got the high ground like that, it's the same principle as barrels. They're only showing you the tip of their head, and as you're coming around this corner, your whole flipping body is showing, and you're now fighting some guy's fucking helmet, and it's really, really rough to fight. I think that's everything. I prefer sometimes to try and plant positions like this. If I've got these kind of smokes up, and I'll show you those smoke screens just one more time. If I've got smokes up like this that are landing on site, over it goes. Should land about here. If I've got smokes like that, then absolutely, if I can, I would prefer to plant somewhere like this where I can cover it from here and here much easier. This is kind of typical position where you can plant, and it's a little bit more risky sometimes in terms of just like, even in terms of wall bangs, right? The CTs know they can wall bang that and the bullet's going to go through. It's going to be a big, big issue. If you've got a CT AWPer who plays heaven regularly and he knows where to place that shot to start doing damage, you're going to be in big, big trouble if they're trying to do shots and stuff like this. So just be careful, practice those wallbangs if that's the kind of play you want to play, but I often prefer not to play and stuff like that. I would always prefer to play 2 CTs down here on site. So in terms of CT setups, let me talk to you about a good CT setup. Me and Manatee right now is a good CT setup. This is probably one of the most optimal setups for CT side, with him here, him there, and me here, because as soon as I can take a gunfight like this, Manatee hasn't been spotted and Manatee can swing out. So these T's are coming out looking for it. Manatee is invisible, and they're spotting me, they're taking a fight here. Now Manatee can swing with me, peeking there, and it's now a double peek, and no matter who you are, you can't shoot 2 people at once. And if we go 3, 2, 1 double swing, then that's easy kill. 3, 2, 1 double swing after a pop flash, we go and peek now. Those guys in short are about to get double peeked, flashed like that. Most of the trajectory is hidden, and it's fucking devastating. And exactly the same vice versa for Monster. I'm not showing myself to Monster right now, Manatee is. So Manatee up here, they're peeking up here, Manatee's swinging here, and as soon as Manatee spots one, they're like, yeah, they're both in Monster. There's no reason that I can't do a number of different. I can either flash off that fence like this, I can flash, and then we can both swing at the same time and fucking wreck them, or I can do some kind of high flash like this, and we say peek together now, and then we can do something like that, where literally, again, the T's that are pushing here, the one I recommend is that fence one, because the trajectory is hidden. So as soon as Manatee's like, yep, there's one Monster, I'll be like, right, both peek on the flash, like this, and we're both now swinging. That most of that trajectory is hidden for the T side. They have no idea, and that comes over at such a fucking spade that they just can't react to it. Okay, so if you're looking for optimal CT setups, play like this, where you basically baiting and switching for each other. Manatee's got Monster for me, and I'm watching short for Manatee, and we can basically switch. If I'm taking a gunfight, the CTs are now going to be looking, the T's are now going to be looking at me. Manatee can step out. When Manatee steps out, I step out with him, and we can have a 2 versus 1 peek here on short. I don't favour this much, because you're basically leaving the one guy down on site on his own. Manatee's doing all the hard work, you know, and Manatee's at risk of then playing Monster and playing against 2 angles on his own down here. So come down and join your teammates, guys, or you can do boosts and stuff as well, okay? Lots of the other tips and tricks now are basically going to be CT side. If you're CT side, keep your Molotov. I know sometimes it's tempting to throw your Molotovs early. You can, so if I'm doing fast control in towards short, okay? If I want fast control in towards this part of the map, then yes, I want a fast Molotov. Stand here, look at the balcony. 1, 2, 3 balconies up, left click throw. Molotov's going to go over and land here. That's going to keep people in there while I go around here. I can come around down, pop flash, like that. And I can come on round then and clear this kind of tunnel like just that. That flashlet lands right on the garbage pile. So as they wait behind my Molotov, it comes in and flipping wrecks them. So yes, if I'm going to go play really aggressive in towards short, then that is going to be a good time for Molotov, where basically up on just like that, come on round. I'll show you the flashbang. You bounce it off the floor here, like that, over to the rubbish pile, turn away, and that is going to just ruin anyone in that tunnel, and I've got good information here. I can do the same thing where I can do a flash just like this. And I can come around and do a deep flash like that. A deep flash is going to wreck anyone in that tunnel. Be careful not to overshoot it. If you shoot it like that, it's going to go too far. So you want to look down more as much as possible when you come around there. So you see, the more down I look, the more direct in the vision of the tunnel that's going to land. That flash comes in and just wrecks anybody in the tunnel, okay? So it's really, really good. So yes, you can do that as well. CT side. Look down, turn away from it. Come around and get a quick bit of information and stuff like this. You can do a fast Molotov as well if you come down. By the way, if you're coming in from heaven, if you land in the water, you don't take any fall damage. Any height like this, no fall damage. However, if you're an idiot and you come and land on the garbage like this, my old grandma knees can't take that, and that's going to really, really hurt. So, but if you're looking for a fast Molotov down in towards water, land here. You basically look here, the bottom right of this grey square like this, left click throw. That's going to give you the fast Molotov perfectly in front of Monster every time. But if you're playing against a slow T-side, because the problem is, if you're playing against a fast T-side anyway, there's no point wasting fast Molotovs. If T-side are just going to run in with MAC-10s or Galils or AKs, if they're just going to be coming in and getting on top of your fucking ass anyway, then there's no point. Manatee, hold on to that. There's no point, because they're just you're gonna end up wasting your Molotov. They're going to extinguish it almost every time. But if you are playing this much more slow, methodical T-side, who are really slow, they're really taking their time and stuff like this, and then they start doing stuff. If you've still got your Molotov at this point, drop it now, because that's going to wreck their whole strategy. Now, what are they going to do? They've used their smokes, and now they've got to wait like 6-7 seconds for that to go. Now they can push in. They've lost half of the time on their smokes, and it's so much more. But obviously, using this kind of counter utility, counter CT incendiaries, only works up against a team that are going really slow. You've seen it in one of the Wingman tournament videos that I've got on my channel, where basically we were playing against Twin Easy, and they throw in all their utility, the smoke comes in, the flash comes in and all that stuff. As soon as we see that stuff happen, as soon as we do that, we then drop the counter Molotov, and they've got nothing because they've used their smokes, and now they have to wait. Now they're waiting, their Molotovs run out, the flashbangs they use have run out, the smokes run out, and now they've got to slowly move in again. We know where they're coming from, but they don't know where we are, and that's really, really tricky. So that is going to be the tip, that's not just Wingman, not just Overpass. If you want to be a better CT that's going to play at a much higher level, keep your flipping utility. There's no point wasting it at the start of the round if it's not going to be any effect. If you're just going to be launching it, but T-side are fucking adamant that they're coming through that tunnel come hell or high water anyway, they're just going to be straight on your ass and gunning you down anyway. So there's no point trying to get that fast utility. You need to just be playing different positions that can counter those kind of things. So I think we're almost nearing pretty much everything that I can show you. There is a smoke. If you want to smoke off the other side of the tunnel, you can basically crouch down, and I think you look at it like this. I think that should bounce off the overpass and land here. No, it doesn't. Basically, I think there's a smoke that you can do where you basically look at the tip like this, and it should bounce there and land back in towards this, but that's not working for me. That's just not going well. That's not going well at all. Maybe that'll do it. Nope, that's not working at all. Basically, you can get it to land right off here and go off into towards there. It's a smoke which I've not actually seen. I'm sure that you do it by standing up. Almost. You can basically bounce it off there and you get it in there. I've seen, again, you've seen that I've not practiced it. I've thrown so much better utility in this video already on getting it right first time. If I've not practiced it, I've often probably not found that it's worked that much. So it's a very specific thing. If you want to smoke that off to go have a look there, you're probably better off, if you're wanting to do something like this, just keep the Molotov there, because then you can still peek over the top. Do a flash over the top. get the peek you want, and then if you know they're in there, then you can just drop the smoke. I'm much more likely to do something like this, which doesn't require mad lineups, than rather to do some fancy thing that's going to smoke back there and then keep them in the tunnels and stuff like this. Boost spots, in terms of cool boost spots, I mean, this is obviously a cool position. Remember, if you look at the floor here, you're not going to be visible, and remember that, guys. Please remember this, guys, because if Manatee is in this position and crouches down, I cannot see Manatee until I'm literally here on top here. If Manatee looks at the floor now as well, they're even more invisible. Their head goes down. His head up here goes down, and then if he looks at the floor, he goes down, and he is invisible to me until I literally jump on top and check him. So always remember, if you're T-side coming in towards the bomb site, always give that a quick check, make sure that someone's there before you do that kind of stuff. In terms of boost spots for CT side, obviously you can do a wall bang through here as well. You can kind of look to the right of the writing, just like this, I think. Yeah, just a little bit like that. Basically, if I go there, you're looking at to the right of the writing, just like this. Come up a little bit. That's going to be how you can wall bang people in towards that tunnel. Pretty funky. You can wall bang people whilst you're in here as well. If you can stand here in the corner, and I think it's halfway down the right of this A4 sheet of paper. He says, yeah, there you go. You can basically shoot people then on towards that sandbag. Loosey-goosey lineup, but that's going to do some right at head height as well. That's going to do right damage. Anyone who's in that spot waiting for you or coming round here towards short, that's going to do lovely damage. And obviously you've got the boost back here as well. So if we've got Manatee up here, and if I get on top of Manatee's head, this is the kind of cool thing that you can be doing. You can be waiting right on here. I would often play right on the angle like this, because if I'm stood right up here, I'm showing my whole chest and body. You can still get just an effective boost by just hiding back here. And I can't tell you how many more times I've won the fight by just literally jiggling around up here, getting the kill and moving back, then fucking stood waiting my whole top half of my torso, showing that there. You don't need to show your whole body up there. As well, often what you'll see us do as well, if we're going to play this map, is that we're going to drop a grenade down there, and we're going to blow open that door, because by blowing open that door I can see all the way down in towards, like that, in towards connector. I can see a T coming down here at the point, like if I show you how far I can see down here and how unfair this is, I can see someone coming down here up to that point there, and if you look to where you can see me, literally the CT can see me here. I can't see him on that boost. I still can't see him on that boost. I can see him now. I can take that gunfight literally like 3, 4, 5 feet after he can see me. So it's really nasty. And also remember, if you are coming down then connector, making sure you're walking on this side here so that you're not going to get caught by any blown open door or anything like that. If you see that door's blown open, then you need to walk down this side here, and then you can do the flash or something like that to get yourself out like this. The Stewie 2K flashbang. Ah, there we go. Then you can come on out then, and then you take that gunfight to do that kind of stuff and come on around and make sure it's like that. That lineup also works with Molotovs, by the way. If you're worried that there's a CT here waiting for you, or if there's a CT down here waiting for you, like a little bitch waiting in the corner and stuff like that, just molly him. That works. Works the same way, same principle. Make sure that he's not there. Obviously, it's self-explanatory if you need a Molotov that lands in here to make sure that no one's playing this position as well. And you can just get easy Molotovs and stuff like that. Boost spots, yeah, so basically that's going to be a really nice easy boost spot. CTs get a secondary boost spot as well, where they can go back towards here and they can kind of get up like this. This is another really good kind of thing. They can see short, they can see monster, really easy, and as soon as they come around, you can kind of come on around there. You can do flashbangs like this. Nice high flashbangs that do really nice high and stuff like that. The reason you want it to flash really high like this is because it blinds T's all the way down here watching those angles, and you can do boosts like this. You can counter boost up to heaven as well, so maybe if you know there's a CT up there, or maybe if you're mid-round CT and you think, oh, we could really do with putting someone back in heaven and it's kind of safe to do so, then absolutely we can kind of get Manatee to stand up, and I can come back up into heaven like this and play towards that and kind of play up there. And again, like I showed you about the jumping boost and stuff like that. In terms of other kind of funky boosts, then here's a funky one for you. You can boost here as CT side, and it's a bit kind of crazy, alright? Like, it's very crazy. What you need Manatee to do is kind of stand as high up as possible up here, but without showing his ass, because as soon as he shows his ass through the edge of the wall here, it's going to be a big problem. And the whole point is now, so I jump on Manatee's head, Manatee's watching monster, and I'm watching short. I can wallbang this, and I can destroy anyone who's coming in short. That's going to be such a problem, because I promise you, any T who's checking this angle is not watching for a head for a CT up here, and they're just not expecting it. It's just not an angle you expect. So if you're looking for a funky boost, that's going to give you another little funky boost angle. I think we're basically reaching the end of funky boost angles, funky spots and stuff like this. I mean, in terms of other funky spots, this is courtesy of a guy called Thwomp, lovely CS player, gave you his little smoke strat on towards Vertigo video. This is called a position up here. This is insane, this spot. Gives you a nice deep view in towards Monster and plays around here, and I promise you again, if you are on towards that position, you are not getting checked as a standard angle. You are not coming around this corner here, checking this. You are just not, that's not where you're putting your crosshair until you've seen that spot 2 or 3 times, and then you're like, fucking hell. But literally, you're coming around the corner, you're often checking here, you're then flicking straight up to heaven or checking the box here, checking this stuff. You're going to miss Manatee here, and if he's got an AWP, dead meat as soon as I walk around here. Really, really good spot. And same again, if you're coming around here, if there's no one there, your next point of call is probably going to be up at heaven, or you're expecting to see a head there. And if you end up shooting Manatee's feet, and Manatee's got an AWP trained here, it's an absolute beast of a spot. I've seen it work for him, and it does wonders for him. I'm sure there are one-way smokes and things that you can do as well. If you, you know, I'm sure you can probably do smokes and stuff like this. Maybe not quite high enough. I'm sure you can do shit like that. I'm sure that works. I'm just literally trying to figure it out on the fly here, guys. Don't be afraid to go into practice servers and stuff like that. Maybe that works. Yeah, that's fucking horrible. Look at that. What is the hell? What the state of that? Look at that. We know Manatee's there because we can see the thing. Remember, with a blue CT model, that's probably going to even be harder to see. So you can definitely do things like this, guys, where you can just do janky stuff. Where we can basically get the smoke right into the corner, and we can do shit like that. Pretty cool. There's another one-way smoke that I definitely know that you can do, is if you stand on top of these here. And if I just drop a smoke in towards the gap here, I can stand up on top of this like this. I'm beautiful up here. I'm bougie. I can literally see anyone come down here, anyone down here. And if I put Manatee up here with me, Manatee is really hard to see. Manatee is basically impossible to see. Stood up or crouched down, Manatee is very hard to see up on top of this. There's a pretty funky one-way smoke as well, if you're looking for some funky one-ways. Basically just come up here, drop the smoke, stand up on top of it, easy peasy, and I can see down towards here, get the kills, and my exit strategy is really easy because I can fall back in towards here, I can flash for myself, whatever it is I want to do, and stuff like that. And obviously I'm sure that you can do smokes like this, where you can do things like this and you can play around at the edge like this, where I can just wait to see the corner and stuff like this. You can probably get that even more risky for a bisky, where I can just drop that. So just be naughty. As a CT player, look at that, I can leave a gap like this deliberately for myself, and as soon as I see the T's come creeping out of Monster, just like this, and they're going to come around and they're going to be like, oh, that's nice, that's smoked for us. They are not ready. They're not ready for that one-way gap at the bottom left of that smoke. Be so careful. If the CTs have smoked that off for you, there's a reason. That's because he's playing an absolute disgusting angle underneath of it. I think that's pretty much everything as well. Obviously, if you see enemies down here, if I just put Manatee up here, if you're spotting enemies from back here and like this is wall bangable, so I don't need to stand up to see Manatee. If I've just seen Manatee like this and I've just jump peeked him or something like this, I can spray that. Obviously I'm not going to kill him, but basically you can spray that and you can kill enemies through that, which is really, really helpful. You can plant over here as well if you want to. It's a little bit nuts, but if you want to, then you can. I really think we're on to everything now. I think we've exhausted our supplies. If you're playing in heaven and you want to Molotov the bomb spot, just look at that line there where these lines cross over right on the pillar. Run forward, left click, throw. You're going to get a Molotov then that's going to land right on towards the bomb spot. That's going to make it super, super nice to just stop people planting the bomb. Really, really helpful if, say on pistol strat, if the T side have done something like this. If T side are throwing in all this shit. And if you're stood up here in heaven and it's pistol round, the flashes come in, they've got the smoke up and you're like, oh fucking hell, then that's when you can go get your Molotov then to land here so that they can't then plant on the standard spot. And that's when, you know, I was telling you about that other spot, that's when maybe they want to plant or something like that there to kind of be safe from heaven. So they're good Molotovs like that are going to help you out. I really do think now we're reaching everything. This is wall bangable, be very, very careful. This is wall bangable. Anyone behind there, come around and check those kind of spots. You can jump across like this to this, you can play on top of this. This is a really good spot and kind of position up here where you can see in towards short. You can see, you can jump on top of this, sandbags as well. This is another good way to see in towards here. Particularly good if the CTs have smoked this, alright? So what you'll get some bad CT teams do is they're going to smoke that in the middle like this. Sometimes you can literally use that against them. I can kind of crouch up like this, and I can then I can see into heaven. Boom, the heaven player's dead. barrels, I can see barrels, the barrels player's dead. Round's won, you know what I mean? So sometimes you can get yourself really, really easy. Use the own CT smokes against them. This is why in most cases for CT, I wouldn't recommend throwing the smoke there. I would always smoke deep. And to smoke deep, you just look at the yellow tag on towards construction, smoke deep, and you can kind of smoke much, much deeper back there. Or if you want to go even further, you can smoke it much, much deeper down there. Like that. That is going to be so much better, and sometimes that might give you then even a one way to even work with. Look at like this, where you can maybe catch them boosting and stuff like this. This is so much scarier as T side. If the smoke's here, that's much more scarier because I don't know how close the CTs are. If the smoke is here, I know as a T side, no one's here. No one's got this, and I can now use this part of the map. They've given me a whole square section of the map that I can now use to set up boosts and stuff like this. If the CT smoke is here, and I'm coming around here, I have no idea how close they are. I don't know then if they're doing some kind of boost or something like this, and very much so, I just showed you that the T-side can do a boost here. There's no reason why CT then can't do a counter boost. They'll see you here coming out in connector, they'll wait, they could see you doing a boost over the top here as well, and they could shoot you in here whilst you're trying to set up a boost looking that way. You're not even ready for the fact there's CTs here. And again, no reason why you can't set up smokes like this, which kind of then that you can play around like this, where you can kind of do stuff like this. You can do stuff like this where you can smoke on this side, and then you can play around stuff like this, and you can wait to see T's and stuff like this. Just be a real flipping rat if you want to be CT side and be effective. I promise you again, T's will see a smoke like that and be like, cool, it's smoked off, let's do a boost. You come walking across like that, as soon as you see me, they've not checked it, they've not checked that angle, and they're dead. They come running up here, or they're like this, they're going to try set up their utility there. I know roughly where that B is, I can see the B, where they're going to be setting up smokes and stuff like this there. I can then go off, and I can absolutely fucking nail the guy through a smoke who's throwing a smoke grenade, because I'm playing right here, I know where the B is, and I can just do huge damage and get myself out of there. All these are kind of like the sweaty, nerdy tips now. I think we are basically... We've reached everything. There's a position here under bridge where you can see this as well. This is really good as well if they've done bridge smokes and stuff like this. If they've done these kind of smokes and they're coming in to do these flashes, you know, you can kind of do flashes in over the top of yourself like this, move in and do these flashes. These flashes are good because they're going to blind any CTs up close. Any CTs like this with a Mag 7 or a Zeus are going to be super white. But if that smoke is coming in, sometimes it's really helpful because I can still see them, and I can see one's crossed, two's crossed, or if they're walking slowly, I can get myself a kill there. So be very careful as you cross over towards this bit that is an angle of which CTs can be down there and getting those kills. Just be mindful of everything. Like I said, that jump right click flashbang I showed you there, just in line with this green line here. You basically want to just jump, right click throw, like this. That's going to be your most friendly flashbang. You can Molotov barrels as well, just through this gap. You don't need to look at barrels to see it. Or if you're coming around here, then I can just see the edge of barrels just like that. It's really easy to get stuff like that in. No reason, same again, I can Molotov the ramp here just by looking at the pillar. There we go, and I can get a Molotov then that lands kind of just like this. And that's basically everything. Just don't peek key corners without a flashbang and stuff like this. I've shown you this is obviously a really good position because good flashes and stuff like this, you want to get yourself back out of into dodge, and you can just do counter utility. Remember what I talked about in my Vertigo video? Counter utility, and that's when CTs can do stuff back into it, where they can re-peek and short, re-aggress, re-challenge in towards these angles and stuff like that. That's going to be super important for CT side. Now I supremely think we have hit absolutely everything. Use that pillar, just use your environment around you. If they're planting the bomb in front of you and you have a Molotov, don't just stand there like a fucking lemon going, oh, I can't wallbang that. Just get the fucking Molotov on there and deal with it. Or, you know what I mean, or do different things. I think you can actually do a smoke as well, I think under that, which you want a smoke then that kind of lands there. That's pretty helpful as a retake smoke because, like I said, if you're coming around this angle and there are T's down there, I think you maybe want to do it on the red bit. Maybe to the left a little bit of the red bit. Again, I've just figured this out live on the video. There we go. That kind of works as well. So that would be really helpful. If you're doing a retake and you've still got your smoke, then maybe you want to do something like that, where you're getting the smoke down or something like this, and just to stop them playing this kind of angle, you don't want to give them a one-way. So like I said, my original lineup, when I said somewhere underneath that generator, is going to be where you want to be without it bouncing back at you. It's a pretty hard thing to do. But if you can land it, then all that kind of stuff is going to help you just a little bit in terms of stuff like this. Oh, retake utility as well. If you're retaking in from short as well, you've got a Molotov, you can throw that Molotov, that lands on short corner here. That's pretty helpful. Again, if the T's are planted the bomb, they're here, you're coming in from heaven or something like this, that Molotov comes in from safety, they're like, where's that going? And it kind of then lands on towards this corner here, really, really nicely. Why is that not landing? It landed first time, absolute madness. You're basically looking at where the light meets the shade on the roof here. This video is going to pop! There we go. That burns off that corner and that stops them from playing that kind of angle just like this. Super, super easy. And I think smoke grenades even worked from that kind of position as well. There we go. Yeah, it works perfectly to smoke that off. Really handy if you want to be doing that. There's no reason that you can't be doing that kind of stuff there. So I showed you the fast Molotov, third balcony up, or if you want to smoke it off, you can just look at where the light meets the shade and you can just do that instead. But remember what I said about smoking here, you're basically signposting that no one's here and you're going to let the T's come up and take that part of the map. So I would only really do that if I was in a retake situation where if I know they've already got that bit of the map, then I would throw that there. And same point being where if your teammate's just like, oh, I've just spotted one in short, if you already know they've got short, then by all means, there's no point throwing a smoke that's going to land all the way over here if they're already in short. And that's the kind of thing then when you're going to need those kind of utility and those smokes. Now, I genuinely think that's absolutely everything. This flashbang will save your life. I've already shown it. Bounce it off that fence. If you're wanting to peek monster, that is the flashbang for you. It's going to do huge damage. At the start of the round as well, if you want to go for this aggressive peek, flash behind you. Just bounce it off the railing behind you like this. And then come on around and go take that fight. Because that flash is behind you, it's going to be absolutely lethal. That's going to be such a good flashbang. And if you want to flash in for your teammate as well, I mean, you can stand here and do grenades. Remember I showed you that CT boost where they're boosting here? You can do grenades from back here as well, where you kind of just like look into the corner like this. And you can get grenades and land right on this boost spot here. So you imagine if there's two of you throwing grenades and stuff like that. Oh my god, that's going to huge damage. You can flash for your teammate over here as well. So say if I'm about to go in through that tunnel, Manatee can flash for me. And all he needs to do is crouch down, look at the leaves, move forward, left click throw. That flash is going to go over and land right on the corner. That is going to land right here in the view of a CT. If there's a CT holding the tunnel like this, it's going to fuck him. And if there's a CT watching you come out of connector, that's going to fuck him. So say if you're coming through here and you've like only got a Tech 9, no armor, you know, no utility, you can say, teammate, can you throw me that flashbang? And that flashbang is coming over like an absolute beast in the night. Or you can just self-throw the flashbang. So basically, yeah, Manatee sits here, crouches down, look at the leaves, move forward, left click throw, easy. Or you can throw it for yourself if you just jump right click over the top. Like that. And then it flashes, and then I can be here, on top of it here. The reason I want my teammate to throw it is, again, this is really good. If I've got my teammate in the tunnel here, I can throw it for him, and he can then catch out CTs on that boost. If there are CTs on that boost like that, look at this flash. It's fucking evil. If there are CTs waiting up here for that, that flash comes in and just completely ruins the boost. And so Manatee throws that for me. I'm waiting in the tunnel. I'm like, throw the flash for me, bro. I wait for it to pop, move on out and get the kill, and then start coming around and controlling short. Those are the kind of things. Supporting flashbangs. I always get to the end of my videos and talk about supporting flashbangs. They are so they cannot be understated. They cannot be underestimated as to how helpful flashbangs like that. You cannot peek this angle in an LEM game or something above if there is already a guy watching it. You are going to be deleted. So you need that supporting flashbang over the top to come on round then. And now there's no one here, and now I'm the one in charge. I'm the captain of this ship now, and then I'm coming round and I'm deciding when I want to take these fights. And from here I can set up a bridge smoke. From here I can set up a little pop flash to make sure that no one's there. I can come on around here if they're on this kind of here. If I know that there's one barrels, from here, look at this. This is all realistic utility that I would have in a round. I might still have a flashbang left at this point of the round. I've only thrown one flash, and now I can kind of come in, and then we're kind of moving in. I'm checking all this spots, checking all this round here, checking that all this is clear. Super easy. And that, guys, I think concludes absolutely everything. Please think about your utility. Please don't go running in through monster like that. Who are you flashing? The guy up on the fucking overpass up here? Why are you flashing that guy? You want to make sure that if you're running in towards this bit here, you want to make sure that you are flashing the guy in front of you. Or before you're taking the peek, you're flashing this guy very specifically to come and deal with this here. Or you're doing the kind of flashes like this. You can obviously use this to your advantage as well. You can flash off the top of the overpass. If I want to take that fight on towards this guy on this angle, that flash is going to come in and drop into his POV. Absolute bits. You know, there's no reason I can't, if there's a guy over on this side as well, that I can't use the overpass and use that stuff. I can do that to flash the guy heaven. You know, where I can come on around something like this, or I can flash heaven by bouncing it off that fence. You know, all that kind of stuff is super helpful. Do you know what I mean? If I'm peeking heaven with a flash like that, it's going to be absolutely devastating for that one there. You know, if I'm throwing a flash that lands up here, it's going to be flipping horrendous. Now, I think genuinely I've spoken for a whole hour. There's only 50 seconds left in this video. I think there's absolutely everything. I've shown you everything possible. CT, you can use this as well. If you've got people here in short, you know, there's no reason why you can't use that. You can use that for a flash as well. If I get rid of this here, I can flash here and do all that kind of stuff. Really helpful for if there's a CT on this angle here, that's a good counter flash to stop the T's coming in here, and it's going to be a really, really good flash. Everything's been exhausted. My brain has been emptied into your brain. There's nothing else on this map that you can do that might help you win. Utility's just there to help you. It's not going to help you win games. You just need to be good at aiming and shooting and killing people ultimately. Enjoy. I think I'm going to do train or something else next. And always remember to have fun. Catch you guys soon.